So we continue in our series asking the question, is the Roman Catholic Church the one true church? And our methodology is we look in the Bible about what we're told the one true church would be like. Then we compare that to what we see in the Roman Catholic Church and ask the question, does it add up? Are they the truest thing ever or not so much? The next question that we consider, remember that Jesus said God the Father is looking for those to worship him in spirit and truth because God is a spirit. Now, the great thing about this is the early church in the Bible was absolutely full of the power and presence and life and leading and fullness of the Holy Spirit. 1 Corinthians 14 is a very great example. We see exactly what it looks like to worship in the Holy Spirit because they are filled with, guided, led by the Holy Spirit. They're speaking by the Spirit. They are judging by the Spirit. They're operating in the spiritual gifts. They are, in so doing, submitted to God. Right? And so instead of making up that bowing down automatically means reverence, the true reverence through worshiping in the Holy Spirit is being submitted to the Spirit and doing what he wants every second of every moment of every hour of every day. This is what we see in the early church, worshiping in spirit and truth. How about the Roman Catholic Church of 2025? Well, they love touting the early church fathers. I've been investigating many of the early church fathers, and it's very interesting. We go from the early church doing the thing that God was looking for, worship in spirit and truth, to all of a sudden they gut the Holy Spirit. They say, no, you don't have freedom in the Holy Spirit anymore. You have to do this liturgy lockdown. They replace being submitted to God every second of every moment through the power of the Holy Spirit, which is worship. And instead of doing that, you're going to do this liturgy that we made up, and you're just going to do it over and over and over and over again, right? Because they don't remotely have the power or creativity of the Holy Spirit. And so the only thing they can come up with is doing the same thing over and over and over again. So they gutted the Holy Spirit. They gutted what God said, looking for those who will worship him in spirit, and they replaced it with this robotic liturgy that they made up. How can we say that whenever we're given a plain example of the early church in the Bible worshiping in the Holy Spirit, and then the early church fathers come along and say, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do this thing that we make up. How can we possibly conclude that the Roman Catholic Church worships in spirit and truth? How can we possibly conclude that they are the one true church whenever they're not doing the thing that God said to do, but the early church in the Bible did do the thing that God said to do? Can't conclude they're the true church from this.